Good evening, it's Jeff and Wilma at Budrum, and this evening I'm proud to show you these baguettes. So we've got 14 altogether if you add up all the short ones. 14 baguettes, and so what I'm going to do is show you how we go about making these. Right, so for these perfection or nearly perfect baguettes, I'm using Perfection Bakers Flour. So this is the bag that I got the flour in, and it's got the brand Perfection Bakers Flour, and it's the flour that's recommended for making artisan bread. So what I'm going to do is make it poolish, and I've got my dough bucket here, and I'm going to put in this case I'm going to put in 800 grams of flour and 800 mils of water and about 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. This is only room temperature water, and it's rainwater. Right, so we have 800 grams of water. I'm going to put in 800 grams of this flour, and I'm only going to put in about 1/3 teaspoon of instant dry yeast. So what I'm going to do now is turn the scales off. Just mix it all with my spoon, and then cover it with a tea towel, and then let it sit overnight. Right, so this is about 12 hours later. I have my poolish here, and it's turned beautiful and bubbly and got a beautiful aroma about it. So I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. Now we've got the poolish. We had 800 grams of flour, 800 grams or mils of water, and I used rainwater. 1/3 teaspoon of instant dry yeast. Now the baguette hydration is 65%. So the total flour, you multiply the 800 by 3 gives you 2.4 kilograms of flour. The total water, so you multiply the 2.4 kilograms of flour by 65 equals 1560 of water. So you got the 1560 minus the 800 in the poolish equals 760. And then we're not adding any more yeast, so the only yeast is in the poolish. So, and the salt, I'm using 5 teaspoons of the sea salt that I made the other day after my last fishing trip. So you can add 5 teaspoons or 40 grams. I'm just going to put the water in, the other 760. I'm going to put in my 1.6 kilograms of flour, and then add in my 5 teaspoons of my sea salt. Use my hand as a mixing machine and just mix it all up until it separates away from the side of the bucket. And you can see here that it's starting to tear away from the bucket as I mix it. So I'm just going to pull it out onto my work surface, put a little bit of flour on there, and start to knead it. Now I'm going to add as little amount of flour as I can get away with. So use this here to get the dough off my fingers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to knead it for about 10 minutes. The main reason for the kneading for 10 minutes is because I'm going to make my baguettes in stages, and it's basically for the first baguettes that I make. That's the reason for the knead. Otherwise you could do a stretch and fold, and you don't need to knead it so long. So while I'm kneading, I'm just, as I said before, I'm using as little extra flour as I can get away with. So I'm just not putting too much pressure on it, just spread it out and then just fold it over. So it's basically like a stretch and fold. A little bit of flour here. Right, now my kneading is finished, and I'm just going to give my bucket a little spray with some cooking spray and put my dough in there. and put a little spray on top of the dough and put my towel on top of that. Leave it in a warmish spot. Leave it there to double or even treble in size. Okay, so our dough has certainly trebled in size. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of flour here and just going to turn it out and do a stretch and fold. And I'm going to cut out my first baguettes. This thing's missing. Look at that. Beautiful dough. Right, so I'm scaled out 4 whole baguettes at 280 each and 2 small ones at 140 each. So that's 280. And then 2 at 140. Now that I've scaled out these baguettes, I'm just going to put the rest of the dough back in the bucket and let it rise again. Cover it up. So now the next thing to do with these is to do what they call a pre-form. So you just sort of pre-form your baguettes and you leave it there for about 15 minutes. Right, so it's time to roll these baguettes. So the reason why I do a half one is because it works out just fine for the tray that I'm using. Two full ones and 1 half one in the middle. So I just sort of degas them and you just fold it over there, 2/3 across, and then fold it again, and then you just sort of with your thumb in there just sort of bring it around and just do it like that. Just seal it off, seal that joint off, and then you just roll them out and then just pinch the ends off, and that's sort of all you do. You just put that in there. Now this glass table is just the right length for us, for our oven and our freezer. So just put it down and just bring it over 2/3 across like that, and then just bring it down like that. Turn it over. Now there's a lot of different techniques for rolling these baguettes. You'll see them on YouTube. So I'm just using one of the ones that I found. So you just sort of put your thumb in there and just bring it across, and you just join it all together with your hand, and then you just roll it out. And in my case, to the length of this glass table thing. That's the length for me. So another bit of wood here. Now, before on my other baguette videos, I was doing enough for 2 lots, but I found that the proofing time of about 25 minutes works out perfect for these baguettes. The second lot that I did, they didn't work out. They didn't turn out the same in the oven. So this is why I've left the other 2.5 to just rest while these. So as soon as these go in the oven, I'll do the other one. Right, so it's been 25 minutes. These have been proofing. So I'm just going to load these onto my tray. And you can see why I do 2 long ones and 1 short one. So I put the short one in the centre, and gets a lot more heat around it. It's not so crowded. Now the idea now is to score them. That can be a bit challenging, especially when you've got a camera. So I've got you start at the end, you just go along I'm going to put 3 scores, and you just, oops, I went a bit too close to the other one there, and you just hold your knife on about a 40-degree angle, so you get those shoulders, and you want to make sure that it doesn't heal up before it goes in the oven. I went a bit too long with those, but anyway, I'll try and do better on the next one. So these go in the oven. My oven was preheated at 230 degrees centigrade, and I've got a dish of water on the bottom tray with some rocks in it, and that's going to help with the steam and give you a nice steam to generate the crust. And I'm setting my timer for 5 minutes, so I'm giving them 5 minutes on that first side. Now the other thing about the oven, I've got a paver on the floor of the oven, and that allows the oven to hold the heat when I open the door, so it doesn't lose all the heat out of the oven when you open and close the door. Cover them up. In the meantime, my alarm will go off my first 5 minutes. It's ready to turn around 180. Looking all right so far. I'll give them another 5 minutes. Right, so let's see what happens here. Alright, so that's another 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is turn it over around 90 degrees, put them back in again, give them another 5 minutes, and reduce the temperature down to about 180 centigrade for the remainder of for the next 2 lots of 5 minutes. So the idea of all this rotating is to get a nice even colour on the baguettes. Right, so our last 5 minutes has expired, and our baguettes are coming out.
Oh, they look beautiful, Jeff.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to return the heat back to 230, and I won't put my next lot in until the oven temperature has reached that. So the theory is, as soon as these cool down sufficiently, I'll put them bag them up and put them straight in the freezer. The hardest part to master is the scoring, but anyway, you just got to keep on practicing. This one's ready to come out. There's that one. I'm just going to do 4 in them this time and try and overlap them. This one's ready to come out. See how these ones look. So it'll take a lot of practice to get it the way the professionals do it. You ready to come out? How are these looking? Wow. So I think it'll take me a lifetime to get this right. But I've ordered a baguette scoring knife in the mail, so it should look ready to come out. How's that looking? Wow. Fantastic.
Oh, they're really lovely, Jeff.
Yeah. I don't think a home baker will ever get as good as the professionals, because you just can't put the time in to do the practice. So these are ready to come out. It's the last ones. So looking good. I think this one. Now you can see it's got a beautiful open crumb here. Looks fantastic. So nice and naturally nice and fresh. Just what I generally do with my baguettes, even if they're fresh, is toast them. You get that nice crunchy. What I'm going to do is have a little taste of this one here that I toasted up and see what it tastes like. Beautiful. The jam's alright too. Okay. Anyway, I'll get you to wave the camera over again. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.